do you get when you combine two of the most awesome things on the internet? You get Jaiden Animations, you get Pokemon Platinum, and that is what we're looking at today. Welcome back, friends, and a special welcome to all the new friends out there. I'm YoBGS, player of games, and when I saw earlier today that Jaiden Animations had uploaded this, her attempt at a Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke, I was like, I gotta drop whatever I'm doing to react to this, because I've been a huge fan of Jaiden for a while, and I'm very excited to see her attempt the Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke. I'm gonna see what Jaiden does today, and maybe she can inspire me like she inspired so many people to start speedrunning. Maybe she'll inspire me to finally do a Nuzlocke. Let's get into it. All right, so friendly reminder, if you missed Jaiden's last Nuzlocke, which was a Ruby Nuzlocke, she made it through with 2 Pokemon at the end. There was a lot of death along the way, a lot of tragedy, and I highly recommend you check that video out because it is awesome. There's some funny moments in it as well. And I've actually checked out a Pokemon Platinum damageless run before, so I'm interested to see what Jaiden's gonna do. Friendly reminder, if you dig what I'm doing, please subscribe, let me know. It really helps me more than you realize. And also comment if there's someone you want me to check out as well. Can you hear the excitement in my voice? Can you feel it, my friends? Let's get into it. Jaiden Animations, Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke.
So if you're new here, hi. I've done this before. Last year, I made a video about my first ever Pokemon Nuzlocke, and the game I played in it was Pokemon Ruby. It was fun, so here I am again.
All right, we got the recap. I like it.
But this time
I think it was hashtag Teriyari. They made it through. It was Teriyaki and Ari were the only 2 surviving at the end. Fitting because it was the starter and Jaiden's bird. So
to
let's see what we
Nuzlocke
got
Pokemon
here.
Platinum. I'll explain again super quickly how a Nuzlocke works. You can only catch the first Pokemon you run into per route. If a Pokemon faints, it dies and you can't use it anymore. And you have to nickname your Pokemon so you grow more attached to them.
I don't know that anyone in the history of history has ever named a Pikachu Fubby Juice.
If you still don't understand, that's not my problem. Let's get started.
Wow.
Hoo boy.
Look at this. So Jaiden is getting the confidence of a god gamer at this point, right? She's beaten Minecraft. She's beaten a Pokemon Nuzlocke. She's been a speedrun world record holder, my friends. And now she comes back and it's like, that confidence is palpable.
This was my Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke.
I'm bouncing in my chair. I'm so excited.
Pokemon! So my friend and neighbor Barry is practically dragging me all over the place with his hyperactive squirrel brain, frantically trying to get a Pokemon as soon as possible from this Professor Rowan he saw on TV. He drags me out to Route 2.
That's understandable. You know what? Barry is like all of us YouTubers who saw that Jaiden uploaded a new video. Like half of us were napping and the other half of us like jumped up on the bed and we were like, Jaiden uploaded, and then we immediately all run to our computers. At least I'm the only one who admits it, you know?
And is about to leap into the tall grass when, hold it! You guys know going into the tall grass is practically a death wish, right? What you're doing is basically suicide. Borderline insanity. What absolute moronic lunatics you are. Have you no respect for your lives?
How many Christmas?
Do you have any Pokemon? No. Do you want some? And like that, I have a Turtwig. I named him Turt, and
man, gifts from old people start far more adventures in the history of Pokemon than like anywhere in the real world. The only thing he was missing was like the corduroy patches on the elbows of his jacket. Also, you notice that they have death in their eyes. I'm already
immediately
concerned.
Used him to bash in Barry's Chimchar. I was making my way through the routes, but right as I was about to nab the Shinx I found on 202.
No, Turt!
No!
Not Turt! Now, that stinks, because when you murder a Mon in an early route, that means the route is burnt. You can't catch a Mon on that route anymore, and Shinx is so good. Fortunately, she can still catch a Shinx a little bit later on, so hopefully Luxray will be joining the team at some
Shinx
point.
For us, but that's all right.
Those OP
Shinx isn't
starters,
that great
man.
this early anyway. Then I locked eyes with our first trainer, the first battle. Let's see how we fare against youngster Tristan and his level 5 Starly. Oh my god!
Oh,
so in the first trainer battle I ever fought, I almost immediately lose my starter to a critical hit. Why do I suddenly have a very bad feeling about this? Nevertheless, we kept going onward through Jubilee.
I'd be interested in Jaiden's opinion on some of this stuff. If she thinks she was more cavalier in this run, having completed Ruby. Although, again, from watching Jaiden's content, I feel like a lot of the time, Confidence and Jaiden are very diametrically opposed, right? They're on completely opposite ends of the spectrum. So I think she would have taken the necessary precautions to get through it. But that was my first thought when she almost died in the first trainer battle. I'm like, is she under-leveled this time because she feels like she's good to go?
City, where we caught Kronk the Zubat in the cave above Route 204,
All right.
and Magikarp on 218. Hi, Magikarp. Your name is Puppy. Just outside the city,
Your
Barry
name
runs
is
up and
Puppy or Poppy, and it just gets drugged. How many Magikarp have just been drug on land, man? They get no
wins
respect.
another battle, so I happily bash in his Chimchar again, and his Starly too. I kept on my way, eventually arriving in Orberg City, and nervously challenged Rourke. I was terrified of his cranny.
Yo, and can we? All right. So I just realized here, I'm a couple minutes in. We need to talk about how Jaiden Animations are like the coolest thing ever. Because if I don't address it right now at the beginning, I'm going to be mentioning it every 5 minutes for the entirety of the video. I love the choices of what's in color to accentuate the things that need attention drawn to them. The stuff in the background, even when it's in black and white, has incredible detail. Like the amount of work that goes into each of these videos is just astonishing.
But Turt landed a crit Razor Leaf and
Woo!
one-shot it before it could even do anything. So that's badge number 1.
Well, it's good to know that at least with its head cut off, he can still raise the white flag.
Fun for us. I made it to Floroma Town and was really excited because if you didn't...
These are surprisingly violent. I still remember when Onion got literally chopped in half in the last
outside
one.
the Valley Windworks, you can find Shellos. And if you didn't know, again, I love Shellos. I ran straight to the grass to get my Shellos encounter, and...
That's
I'm
what
not
happened.
gonna pass up an encounter, so I very depressingly caught the Shinx and named it Failure to vent my sadness and frustration over not getting a slug. While there, we found Team Galactic messing around, stealing electric.
Man, first of all, I'm happy the villains in this game don't have exposed midriffs. That is a step up from Ruby. The midriff was making me a little bit uncomfortable, not gonna lie. We got appropriate attire here. I wish they didn't have green hair, although I've switched mine to purple, so that's okay. And third of all, don't throw Shinx in the PC. Shinx is a good mon. Shinx and Magikarp are getting no respect. I hope they get their day in this video.
Little girl's dad. So I beat up the grunt guarding the door, broke in, beat up the grunts in the building until Turt evolved, then found Galactic Commander Mars at the end of the corridor, who I was scared of because she's got a fat cat that hits like a semi-truck. But I had a plan. Back in the Orberg Mines, I caught Dwayne the Onyx, and I brought him to the fight because in case things got dicey, I would switch him in to buy time and heal up my other Pokemon. Basically, Dwayne was death fodder.
No! I mean, it's smart. Jaiden is smarter than I am. I'm already more attached to Jaiden's mons than Jaiden is. We're only a few minutes in, but I thought the strategy was going to be catch the Onyx because the Onyx will have higher base defense, and then maybe that way you can figure out your strategy.
Check out Mars' Zubat, and when Perugly came out, Kronk plucked off the Oranberry it was holding, but she got hit pretty hard in the process, and since Turt needed a bit of healing before he could get back into it...
Oh no.
Dwayne can take a scratch. Look at that. Dwayne is fine. He's fine, guys. Don't pull the sad nose.
Dwayne, no.
Dwayne's
exactly.
Fine.
What did Dwayne ever do?
Don't worry about him. Don't
Dwayne
worry
never did
about
anything.
him.
Come on,
Oh
Dwayne.
my God.
Come on, Dwayne.
Dude. All right, I'll give him that. Dwayne gets to live.
There we
Somehow,
go.
when Dwayne
There
was
we
supposed to die, he hung in there on 1 HP. And you know what? I respected the hell out of him for it. I let Dwayne live, and Turt was able to take out the Perugly.
Jaiden's Pokemon. Because remember the Magneton, I think it was, that survived on 2 HP? Jaiden's last hit points are bigger than any other player's last hit points. It's so awesome to see.
What a legend. But then I put him back in the box and moved on. In Mount Coronet, I caught a Bronzor named Big Boy, which I happily added to the team. And right before Gardenia's gym, Kronk evolved, which meant no mercy for those flower ladies. Badge number 2. We slashed the guard bushes in front of the Galactic building.
For some of the Pokemon experts out there, because I'm a fan, right? I'm not a pro. But for some of the Pokemon experts out there, how would you say a Platinum Nuzlocke stacks up to a Ruby Nuzlocke? Like if you were going to sit down and do one for fun, again, fun, Nuzlocke, pick one. Which one would you do? I feel like Platinum is the way to go. But then again, Jaiden is absolutely rinsing everything.
And ran up all the stairs where we fought Galactic Commander Jupiter. Let's take a look at how that went.
Don't crit. Don't crit, don't crit. No!
Whoa, okay.
But, I mean, that won't do...
Oh, no! Oh, no! Turnabout is fair
Don't
play.
Don't crit him. No. Oh, my God.
No,
we finally were able to beat her, but that fight really knocked the wind out of me. I was shaking on my way back to the Pokemon Center when this lady Cynthia shows up and is like, egg? Yeah. Anyway, even meeting Cynthia wasn't enough to calm my nerves, so to keep my mind off the absolute tragedy we narrowly avoided, I decided to start training up Big Boy on Cycling Road. And then he died.
I've practiced
Flame Wheel's bad news.
So before...
Oh, that takes me back. Because Bronzor... Like, Bronzong is great, but Bronzor is, if I remember correctly, very fragile. Like, you run into that a lot because there's a lot of stuff that can hit it pretty hard. By the way, I just brought Wobbuffet because I'm already starting to get nervous because I know the tragedy is coming.
You push up your anime glasses and tell me that steel is weak to fire, which I know, by the way. The reason I kept Big Boy in was because not only is his defense an iron wall, but he had heat proof, which negates his fire weakness. But then he got crit. So, first death. I'm sorry, Big Boy. You never had the opportunity to become a big boy. I walked in.
That's also a lot of the thing that I've seen in the Pro Nuzlocke reaction videos is that you have to always be aware of what the rolls are and what the crit chance is. But that's something else that Jaiden does well that I feel like other people who attempt Nuzlockes don't. They tend to blame RNG a lot, whereas Jaiden just accepts that it's an inevitability and kind of moves on, which I think is another part of what adds to the charm of these is that everything isn't, RNG's
to Wayward
fault.
Cave and found a Gibble. Gibble is an amazing Pokemon. It turns into Garchomp, which is easily one of, if not the strongest Pokemon in the game that isn't a legendary. Adding it to the team would give us such a huge advantage, and now there is nothing in my way between that and...
You knew there was a butt incoming.
And we're moving on. We arrived in Heart Home City where I caught DeVito the Ralts, Kronk, and Puppy Evolved. We had a clean win against Fantina, and some lady gave us an Eevee I named Milk. Things were starting to look better now. I was leveling up DeVito against trainers, and when fighting this lovey-dovey couple...
let's go into Puppy. Get rid of the Weasel. Oh, no! You're kidding. You're kidding.
That's DeVito and Big Boy.
And that's why I hate love. In came Shrimp the Scyther I caught on Route 210. Some good news, on Route 213, I finally found a Shellos. I named it Scoop, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I know you're not supposed to have a favorite child, but Scoop was my favorite child, and I wasn't apologetic.
Woman finds slug on the side of the road, legally adopts it, and wholeheartedly considers it.
I trained it.
Her child. It was what the bottom of that was going to be. Yo, comment what your favorite Pokemon is. I got to be honest. My favorite Pokemon is Scraggy. Is someone who likes wearing sweatpants. I deal frequently with the sweatpants falling down, and you got to pull them up, and then, you do the Scraggy move. So I got to say Scraggy. Best Pokemon. Comment your best Pokemon down below.
And now we got a Gastrodon. Turt ended up evolving too, so together with Kronk and Swoop, Maylene was defeated and badge number 4 was secured. Outside of Pastoria City, I caught a Quagsire named Lol, but when I went to get my...
Question though, Jaiden Animations, do you like Quagsire? That is, I've got some people that always ask the hard-hitting questions in life. They may be in the comments by the time you see this, if you see this, Jaiden, but the $64,000 question is, do you like Quagsire? Inquiring minds want to know.
Great Marsh encounter, I was trying to get a Yanma and accidentally threw a ball at a Wooper. So now we've got Lol and Oops in the box. Then I swept Crusher Wake with Milk, who is now a Jolteon, with the TM Thunder I bought literally next door. I walked out of the gym and... Team Galactic set off a bomb. I ran down the grunt who detonated it and took him out because he is weak. Cynthia appears again.
When did Jaiden get so much time in at the gym that she's now able to just pick up Gyarados and bop things.
And tells me to bring a charm to her grandma. So I'm like, yes, ma'am. We found her in Celestial Town along with Cyrus, the leader of Team Galactic, who starts some evil Shakespeare speech about how everything is imperfect, so he's got to blow up the world or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to fight.
It does
Puppy
get
took out his
difficult,
Sneasel,
right?
And I sent out
So
Milk to
why do they do this in Pokemon games? Especially because a lot of them are made for kids. Why is the plot always so convoluted? Or maybe I just think it's convoluted because I'm not great at dialogue. I'm one of those people that plays RPGs and gets lost like that because I can't figure out where I'm supposed to go because I don't read the dialogue. Like, just let me capture Mons and
take
beat
care of
each
his
other with
Golbat,
them.
but Milk decided he wanted to be lazy and not only miss all his thunders, but also punch himself in the face.
Milk!
A confused poison. You got to get it out. No, 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 no. Run! Run!
You can't.
Run!
You can't be doing this.
Kronk came out and killed the Golbat because Milk was being difficult, but I gave him a second chance and he took out the Murkrow.
By the way,
Anyway,
Kronk
here's your
the
dusty
Crobat
charm.
is gonna
I went
be
out and
broken.
caught a Magnemite named
There we
C,
go.
then arrived in Canalave City where we barged into Byron's gym and demolished his team with Swoop and Turd. Then Team Galactic sets off
her team looks
another
good. High key. I mean, that doesn't look very good. The athleticism, but her team is high key solid right now. I feel like it's one of those teams that, again, you don't have to be an expert to be like, all right, looking at that, almost regardless of gen, that is a solid team.
This time at Lake Valor. So Barry, Professor Rowan's assistant Lucas, and I split up to check on the lakes. As I'm strolling past all the flopping Magikarp, I run into Galactic Commander Saturn, who we swept the floor with. After that, we headed over to Lake Verity, where we did the exact same with Mars. There was a part where Turt got crit and almost died. Oh god. Oh god. But we're fine, he's fine. Finally, we had to go check up on Barry at Lake Acuity, and after trekking through 6 feet of snow for like a mile, we get there to find Barry at the top of a cliff like, ha ha ha, you can't climb rocks. Come back when you can climb rocks, loser.
Aw.
I'll go fight Candace's gym now, I guess. Now, we've been having some good type matchups with the past few gyms, so I haven't really been nervous about most of them, but
What?
Candace uses ice types, which like half my team is weak against. Which, you know, nervousness rising. Not only was I at a massive type disadvantage, but the main threats on her team were her Abomasnow because it hits like a truck and sets up hail, and her Frostlass because it'll use the hail from the Abomasnow to heighten its evasiveness with Snow Cloak, spam double teams, and then just sweep my team. I walked in.
So basically, it's pseudo karma for the times that Jaiden and Ruby spam double teams to get through some necessary fights. Although, thank you all, by the way, for pointing out to me why double team is not a competitively viable move. And basically, it's for what Jaiden's dealing with right now. The fact that you don't get to play the game. Like, you can't change the game state if somebody's evasion is just broken.
Deep breath, which didn't make me feel better at all, and started the battle. Shrimp took out her Sneasel, and Swoop took out her Piloswine, almost dying in the process. And then she finally brought out the big bad Abomasnow. Since it's grass ice type, I taught Puppy Fire Blast. Yeah, I didn't know we could... Anyway, I wasn't sure it could one-shot because Puppy's not a special attacker, and lo and behold, it didn't.
It didn't miss. Please kill it. Please. It's quad. It's quad. What?
Eventually, Puppy took it out, but that was absolutely...
Well, even though it's quad, it doesn't get stab, right? Because the same type attack boost would have been fine, I'm sure. I'm still surprised it did as much damage as it did. Like, that was a big strat, and the fact that it worked out is even better. Although, when it had 1 HP, she has... Oh, Jolteon would probably know what quick attack, you would think. You almost want something to have quick attack just so you can not die twice in those types of situations. Or, well, no, I guess it didn't get healed up, because if it got healed up on the next turn, she would have just been able to beat it
terrifying.
Anyway.
Last but not least... Frostlass. I wanted to have Swoop Rain Dance to get rid of the hail so Frostlass's Snow Cloak isn't activated, but since Swoop was sitting at a not-so-chill 20 HP, that wasn't gonna work out super great. However, since I didn't want Kronk to be in this fight at all, right before the fight, I swapped her with Failure the Shinx. Yep.
No.
Sorry, little guy. Failure looked up at the looming death that was Frostlass in front of her, and as I healed up Swoop, Failure was killed in its blizzard. It's really unfortunate we had to resort to it, but I give Failure a salute for stepping up and surrendering its life to the team.
Failure in this run was dealt a horrible hand. Failure deserved better than that. I'm just saying. I believe Failure deserved considerably better than that because Shinx is a good mon. I love Shinx. Luxray's almost
Swoop
always
came out, got off the rain dance, and after a close battle, was able to pull through. We won, but it wasn't without sacrifice. We had a moment of silence for Failure, the true MVP of the fight. Gone, but not forgotten. Now we could climb the rocks to Lake Acuity, and when we got up there, Barry's got snot dripping down his face, crying in the snow because he got beat up by Jupiter, who looks at me and is like, "See ya, I'm going to Veilstone HQ.
Poor Barry. He tried.
I'm gonna go to Veilstone. We start running through the base trying to find Cyrus, but when fighting this scientist...
Psychic.
Oh, no.
Porygon 2 freaks me out. It is way too powerful, way too bulky, and it's way too weird.
Yeah.
I do like Porygon 2,
The fact
though.
that you just said that.
I would like a plush of Porygon 2. Very cute.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got problems, friends. We got big-time problems, friends. Okay, you're going to see a cut here because I may have sat here a lot longer than I should have. Just wondering what's going to happen to Swoop. All right, it's time to unpause. It's time to check out the inevitable.
What?
Yeah,
What?
the crit.
No!
Yeah.
No! Swoop!
But there can be more Swoop.
We lost Swoop!
I wasn't okay. Kurt came out and curb stomped the Porygon 2 out of vengeance, but to put it lightly, I wasn't taking that too well.
That's so rough. Like, we've all got our favorite mons. She's got to release it, no?
My heart is breaking. I'm like actually sad.
But life does.
She has a death box. I'm not laughing at the fact that she's sad because I admire her ability to continue the run at that point because if my favorite mon died, although you could probably catch another one, right? There's no rule that says you can only have one of each Pokemon species in your party, but that would probably be it for me. I don't know that I would be able to continue because I would just be so salty. Like, even if I didn't delete the file or whatever, I'm putting the game down for a little bit and trying my luck at something else.
Doesn't stop when your dog dies, so I had to keep trucking and brought Lol the Quagsire to the team.
Quagsire.
With an intense, blood-curdling thirst for revenge, I stormed into Cyrus's room. Fight! Shrimp and Milk took out his team in no time. I snatched his Master Ball and used his teleport pad to enter the basement where Mess Spirit, Azelf, and Uxie are all being held captive. Fight! Unlike Cyrus...
Dude, Jaiden is now... If it's possible for Jaiden to go Super Saiyan, I'm almost surprised she didn't animate herself with Super Saiyan hair now because she's fighting for vengeance. And everybody knows when you're fighting for vengeance, you get such a large boost to all of your stats, essentially.
Saturn was swept too. After releasing the Lake Guardians, we head to Mount Coronet because Cyrus wants to go there and destroy the planet, I think. And we catch up to him at the Spear Pillar. Before we can run up and attack him, Mars and Jupiter step in. Then Barry arrives. Honestly, I have no idea how he found us all here. And is like, I'll help. Lol takes out both their Bronzors, Mars's Purugly, and Barry's Munchlax. So I thought, you know, it was all smooth sailing, right?
Nope.
Well...
Wow, Barry.
Oh, no.
Really doing a lot for the team, aren't you?
Okay.
Oh my god, no, it has Giga Drain?
Because Giga Drain's going to be 4X, right? Because Giga Drain a grass move, so it doesn't get stabbed, but Quagsire's water ground.
No.
Oh,
No.
such a
oh,
chonker,
no.
too.
Oh, no. It was a crit.
Not only did I not know their Golbat had Giga Drain for some reason, but it also got a crit. So I was starting to feel bad, but then I started panicking. The thing is, after you fight Mars and Jupiter, you have to go into the Distortion World and fight Cyrus and Giratina. If Cynthia forces us into the Distortion World without us being able to get a new member, we're in massive trouble. We finished up the battle and Cyrus starts his whole spiel about how the
Run.
world isn't perfect,
Run.
blah, blah, blah.
Escape rope.
Everything must die except for me. Then he gets swallowed up by Giratina. A hole opens, a rip in space leading to the distortion world, and I'm kind of just standing off to the side twiddling my thumbs like, Cynthia, please don't shove me in there without my consent.
Cynthia, can I go?
Yeah,
I
totally
have something
distorting.
to do. Our world will be destroyed. Are you ready? No, I'm not. Let me go.
There you
I'm
go.
Free. Holy
Whew.
crap. Get me out of here. Goodbye.
I'm sorry, lol. We just got you, and then you died. But
Life
luckily,
comes at you
remember
fast.
when I accidentally caught that Wooper while trying to get a Yanma? It's time, Oops. You were no accident. You're our lucky star who will
Oops.
carry us to victory. We got Oops leveled up, came back to the spear pillar
Gotta love
where
our little
Cynthia was
axolotl.
just sitting there waiting for us, and hopped in. Everything is topsy-turvy and the Lake Guardians are telling me to push boulders into holes. And suddenly I'm on a floating crust of land with Cynthia, who's basically like, Cyrus, get lost.
Again, remember when Pokemon was just I was about to say Axe. Remember when Pokemon was just Ash trying to become the greatest there ever was? Now we're in distortion worlds. That is unfortunately how the plot of anime always evolves. It scales to just ridiculous proportions.
Never come back. And Cyrus didn't like that. So he came at me. Oops took out his Houndoom and his Gyarados came out, so I switched to Milk. But I was very terrified because Cyrus's Gyarados has Earthquake. So if Milk misses
Liar.
his Thunder here, he dies. And Milk is notorious for missing his Thunders. But it hit.
Oh,
Milk
what a
lives another
gamble.
day. He also took out
What a
Cyrus's
shot.
Crobat and Honchkrow, and Shrimp finished up his Weavile. Cyrus steps aside, and suddenly it's just me and the Angel of Darkness itself, Giratina.
Ball. Smash the ball. Excuse me? This just became a completely different type of animation channel for a couple seconds. Oh, that's cool. I like it. That's so well done.
I threw the Master Ball, and like that, it was over.
Thank
I
goodness.
saved the world. Now to get back to my gym badges. I arrived at
Right?
Sunshore City and started making my way
Now
through
that I've
Volkner's
saved
gym.
that pesky world, it's time for my hobby.
I know he's the 8th gym leader and he's supposed to be tough, and apparently he's depressed because everyone who challenges him isn't good enough and he's bored. But I wasn't concerned. We have Oops, and none of his Pokemon can do anything about it. It's
Yep.
not like they have Giga Drain or anything, right? They didn't, I checked. Oops was
Good.
just Earthquake and everything.
Always
and at
wise
the
to
end,
do your
I'll
research.
admit, I got a bit scared.
Okay, don't crit. If you crit Giga Impact, that would be really holy.
But it's all good.
That wasn't
We're all
even a
good.
crit, I
And
don't
with that,
think.
Off to Victory Road we went, where we caught ourselves a Gabite I named Flakes. Would have been nice to have one, I don't know, near the beginning of the game, say, in Wayward Cave, you know. But whatever. Better late than never. It's good to have just in case something goes
But I
wrong.
mean, but then there's knock-on implications, right? Because if you have, if you get that Gibble, then different mons are in your party. The experience gets completely allocated differently. You don't know if a critical death at that point ends up changing how things go. You know what I mean? Like her Pokemon wouldn't have been the same level at the same fight. So maybe it ended up working
Horribly
out.
wrong out of nowhere.
Flakes
Oh,
is
it's
basic.
a brave,
yeah,
brave
it is.
boy.
It's an amazing. Whoa,
It is a
whoa,
brave
whoa,
boy.
Whoa, whoa, no!
Wow, that one hurt.
You're kidding.
That one hurt. And took itself out, too.
Oh dear. And that's the straw that broke the camel's back. After Puppy died, I stepped back and decided the team we go into the Elite Four with needs to be the best possible team we can build.
Yeah.
The Elite Four here goes pretty hard, so I couldn't go in willy-nilly just hoping for the best. After literally a few hours of
I always like to pause here to try and find the references. The Hoot Hoot clock is where it's at. Got all the different weaknesses. Very nice. It's, oh my goodness. I can't imagine going into the Elite Four because Jaiden also streamed these. There were people that pointed out to me that Jaiden had streamed I think all of these, as a matter of fact. And being this far in and having to worry about the potential to rip the entire run. I feel like that's the theme today, right? Because I checked out Luke the Notable earlier today, and the possibility of ripping a 1,000-day, 2,000-day hardcore world, again, in front of people, is just, it's tough. And I'm hoping for Jaiden now. This one feels like it's had more critical deaths than the other one.
Calculations and research. I settled on a team I thought would give us the highest possibility of winning.
Oops,
I added
Colgate.
Flakes to the team in place of Puppy, and
Shrimp.
with a heavy heart, left Milk and Kronk behind as I brought C the now Magnezone and Colgate the Togekiss I hatched from the eggs Cynthia gave me.
I like
Even though I was
Colgate.
sad to
That's-
not bring
that's-
Milk and
that's
Kronk
good
into the
reference.
final battles with us, they won't be forgotten. And it doesn't negate the fact they were such huge assets to the team, and I wouldn't have made it this far without them. I'll see you guys on the
A little
other
bit
side.
more,
I took
a little bit
step
more team strategery here from Jaiden. So it leads me to believe that maybe Platinum is, at least when it comes to the Elite Four, more difficult than Ruby.
towards the doors of no return and immediately got interrupted by Barry, who
Oh.
wanted to have one last fight. Anyway,
Poor Barry. Barry's trying. Not again. Weird.
welcome. This is the Elite Four. The battle starts and C takes out Aaron Zeon, Mega, and Vespiquen. Oops takes out his Drapion, and Colgate takes out his Scizor and Heracross.
She makes this look
Next
so
up is
easy.
Bertha.
Okay, that's free. When did this become Jaiden Animations Literature Club? That's what I wanted. I want to know when this became Jaiden Animations Literature Club. Making me nervous.
Bertha loves ground types, but Turt and Oops had a smooth time smashing through her team. I felt a horrible shiver when her Rhyperior came out, but things went well. On to Flint.
Way to go. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh,
Flint has a pretty
it's
scary
not,
team,
Can you
but-
call it foreshadowing when it's in your face like that?
Luckily, Oops and Flakes had no trouble plowing through them as well. And with that, we're on to the last member, Lucian. Now, Shrimp hasn't had much time to shine in these fights so far, so I decided I wanted to let her go all out. She set up sword stances and bullet punched everything. Proud of you, Shrimp. And suddenly,
That wasn't
I'm
that
at the
bad.
entrance to the champion. The trainer who's been known to crush dreams in a single battle, and many still fear to this day. I took a deep breath. Things are going surprisingly well, and I don't know how to feel about it. But I looked up, and there she was. At this moment, I have
I don't
only
trust
one
this.
last objective.
I don't
defeat
trust
Cynthia.
this at all.
She leads with Spiritomb, which has no weaknesses, so I sent out Turt to hit it as hard as possible. Flakes takes out her Togekiss, and then her Garchomp comes out. This is known to be one of the toughest boss Pokemon in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. That thing was made by Satan himself, and I'm sure even he fears what he has created. I immediately switched to Oops, who's the only Pokemon that can lead us to victory here. I planned to put it to sleep
I
with
love
Yawn,
Quagsire.
and then Ice Beam it until it died. That was our only hope. But then, Oops was crit. And that was it. Nothing
Oh.
on my team can take a hit from this monster. And even if they could, they couldn't do much damage back. I sat there
No.
in disbelief, knowing there wasn't anything I could have done. And the battle is basically unwinnable now. I brought out Shrimp to bullet punch it so we could get in a little bit of damage, but she was
No.
killed. Colgate tried to chip away at it. He did some damage too, but
No.
was crit one shot. At this point, I'd accepted defeat. Only Turt, C, and Flakes were left. It's hopeless at this point.
Big
Flakes
crit.
came out,
Big crit.
and against all odds, Flakes outsped Cynthia's Garchomp and killed it.
Yes!
I didn't think he could do it.
Go! Ah, you were worried. You were worried. I never for a moment wavered in my confidence here. I don't look like Jaiden does now. That wasn't me at all. I was the bastion of strength and support and let's go team and haha.
He was 2 levels weaker, and I don't know. I just didn't think he could outspeed it. Suddenly, there was a chance. We could win this after all.
Oh, you're
Cynthia
telling me
brings
there's a
out her
chance.
Milotic, which C took out with a few Thunderbolts. Flakes took out the Lucario with Dig. Look, my Earthquake TM is on Swoop, and we all know what happened there. Finally, our last Pokemon comes out. Roserade. Flakes went in for the Dragon Claw, and the battle was over.
Yo!
We won.
Go!
As Cynthia's congratulating me, A sudden feeling of overwhelming guilt washes over my entire body.
Why?
So intense it almost knocks me down. I don't think I deserve this. Something here isn't right. This wasn't meant for me. Back in the distortion world when Giratina split me in two, how do I know I'm me? What happened in the other timeline where I saw glimpses of what happened parallel to this world, that was me too. Those things happened. Was that the ending I'm destined to have? The world I'm living in now is how I want things to be, but the other Jaiden is equally me as I am her. Even if you might think I deserve this dimension, things don't work like that. Are there some things you can't escape, even?
Wait a minute. Okay, so if you watched her stream, I need to know, is this a reference to something that happened? Did a previous run die, and this is I gotta believe this is the actual run, and she's just giving incredible story, but you know that it's good when I'm sitting here questioning whether or not this is steeped in reality, or it's just, steeped in her own sense of, nervousness and all that kind of stuff, because I think we all get that,
and
right?
When you try everything you can do to alter it, I don't know the answer. I may be able to sit on this throne now and thank all the Pokemon that put in everything to help me get here. All the hard work, blood, sacrifices we made.
So much death.
I don't think I can ever accept this victory. I don't know what ending was meant for me. And I don't think I ever will.
What? I mean, that is beyond phenomenal. Holy cow. And you look at all the people that are involved in this, and it's like, you feel like you just watched a movie. You feel like you completed your own journey in checking all of this out. And shout out to all of the people who are involved with this. Inspired and excited to help make these videos. I'm very happy you're all here with me. We're happy to be a part of it too. I mean, as somebody who I don't know that I would have a channel if you didn't make videos, I gotta say that my I was going to say support, but that's not the right word. Like, my gratitude is through the roof. And that is, that video, I wasn't expecting the feels. Give me my boy. I need my Wobbuffet. So, holy cow. That is unreal. So tell me, what do you think? I mean, how do you feel about the video? How do you feel about kind of the message that was a part of it? Do you want Jaiden to do another Nuzlocke? Although it feels like mentally that one took a lot out of her. Comment below, anything you're feeling right now, even if it's just your favorite Pokemon. I'm still saying Scraggy, best Pokemon there is. But holy cow, that was an adventure, my friends. That was an adventure. That was a trip. That was a ride. And I'm glad that we're all here to go on it together and go on it blind. So take care, my friends, as always, especially after hearing that. Feel free to reach out to me. I think anyone in my community, if you are feeling a little bit disillusioned as well. I'm actually going to, I think, have some water, maybe get some holiday cheer going. But you take it easy, and I will see you for the Salty Run Back.